Good morning, pirates. Welcome to the last day of the vintage jumper sew along. Today we're going to be hemming the bottom. I went ahead and already serged my raw edge, so I can start with that. You can give your bottom a good press and then simply stitch it down. It's a curved hem, so having a serged raw edge will help you when you press it to fold it in order to hem it easy. You can also hem it with a cover stitch. I love using my cover stitch for movement too. It's not just for knits. I mean, you've spent a lot of money on it, so you might as well just take Today we're finishing the jumpers by sewing the hem, as I was saying, what I'm doing right now. And we'll also be adding the buttons and the buttonholes. Yesterday, after I finished my waistband, I went ahead and tried it on. And I stitched down the back pockets. I like where they were. Done that. I also put some clips on the strap so I know where I want my button and the buttonholes to be. So now today we're just basically doing 3 buttonholes and 3 buttons. And that's it. We're showing off our week-long project. And my crazy 2 prints jumper is almost ready. It looks so good, and it's not as crazy as I thought it would look. Not that I mind a little bit of craziness in my outfits. The serger seam to help me with when I fold. And then of course I will give it a good press. You know how much I nag about pressing your garments and pressing your hems all the time. It makes the difference between a matte project and a beautiful, gorgeous finished project. You don't want to have worked on this for a whole week, used your best fabric and then not press it and it looks after you put so much effort and so much hard work in it. Okay, so this is what it looks like pre-pressing. So let's go ahead and do the buttons. I'll start with the side button, that's easier. You're basically overlapping, zip up your skirt or pants on the side, and now you're basically going to be putting a buttonhole on the front and the button on the back, or is it the other way? I think it's the other way. Let me just double check. I don't think it matters, but I've already made enough mods to do this pattern. Don't tell on me. So it looks like, yes, the button is on the front and the buttonhole is on the back. So we're going to add this is what it will look like together. The button right here. That's easy. I found the purple button. And I'm using a buttonhole foot. Mine looks like this. Or it could look, let me see, this is from my old brother, but this one, the baby lock, came with a different style. This one. Okay, or it could look like this with two little feet sticking out. It's an M presser foot. Okay, and now I'm selecting buttonhole, so it shows me it's the M. And let's add the little button right there. I do like to go twice on each of the buttonhole stitches. Just for extra strength, I like to do double the stitching on each hole. Okay, so now I'm going to use a button that is the same size as the one that I have right now on this. So this is what it looks like. So now I'll take my buttonhole foot, which is really long, and I actually had it in the correct spot, which rarely happens. So remove your buttonhole, button foot, and most of them do have this little measuring thing at the end where you put your button, so now it will know exactly the size of the hole that it would need to create with the button here. And this is the same size button as the one I've already sewn. Don't forget to lower this little lever in the back. And now we're going to make the buttonhole for the side. This one is gonna go right on top of where the button is. Really easy. So this is where my button is. Okay. And now the button foot will do the job by itself. You'll see. I placed where I wanted to start the hole. I select the type of hole that I wanted to make. Let's do this one. And now I simply let it do its thing, and it will know exactly what size hole to make. Okay? I just have my foot on the pedal, and it simply does the job. Easy peasy. I didn't have to maneuver it myself. This is an automatic buttonhole. Most machines do have it. If it doesn't, you can also do zigzag stitches to make your own buttonhole. Or you can use snaps if you prefer. So now I'm taking my seam ripper and I'm going to place a pin, if I find my pins, right at the end of the hole here, perpendicular to the hole. And I'm doing this just in case I feel seam ripping happy. This will stop my seam ripper from, see, that pin will stop the seam ripper from going any further. So this is my buttonhole. You can use some fray check if you want here, or you can just leave it like that. this woven doesn't fray. There you go. So that is done. This side of my skirt is done. Very pretty, right? And it wasn't hard at all. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the two at the top. So for this, I took my measurement, so I know this is how much I want to overlap. So I will keep my pin here to know where I want my button to go. That's what I'm saying. It's best to put the jumper on and see how long you want the straps to be. So I'm putting my pin back here because I want to do the buttonholes first. And these will go right here. I'm actually using, since I don't have the markings anymore, because I used a friction pen so they disappeared, I'm going to use this as a guide. And I have the same button inside the buttonhole foot, because these are actually the buttons that I plan on adding to the strap, so it will be perfect for that. Just want to make sure I'm doing the hole in the correct spot. Okay. So use the markings included in the pattern, and we're doing the exact same thing as we did before. See? The foot does the job by itself. Look, ma, no hands. It does the hole as big as it needs to. And there you have it. So it will look like this. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll put the buttons. Okay, I'm just doing one marking here to make sure that they're symmetrical, because I lost my marking before. Alright, so same thing, I left the same foot in the back there. I went a little too far. Oh well, it is what it is, no big deal, it's my jumper. I'll forgive myself. Oh, it's not. It's quite good actually. Perfect. So let's do the same thing with the seam ripper. Just place your pin perpendicular to the hole to stop the seam ripper from tearing any more that you need. There. Beautiful. And the other side. This is such a pretty color. So you want to put the pin before the bar of stitching at the end. Okay, so it's before, because you don't want the seam ripper to tear the stitches. There, so it stopped me right there. There you go, the two buttonholes are done. So let's just add the buttons where we had the markings. Make sure that you add the buttons to the right side of your strap. You don't add them to the back. And centered. So I'm taking my button foot again. Okay. And first button. like I said before, I like to do 2 rows of stitching. Okay, and then the other, because it's a 4-hole button. Easy peasy. So now we're going to be doing the same thing on the other strap, the solid strap. So this is my stripe strap. Let's bring the solid strap, and I will just double check that the buttons are in the same position. So yeah, they sure are. My measurements were correct. So here comes the second button. And I'm doing the exact same thing. If you don't have a buttonhole foot and you don't want to invest in one, you can always hand stitch your buttons. Or if you're using any kind of fancier buttons, the one that that require hand stitching, definitely do that. I am not a fan of hand stitching. Not at all, let me tell you. And this is it. You have finished your vintage jumper. All you have to do now is give it a good press and place a picture of your finished jumper in the comments of day 6 photo album in the sew along group that's on Facebook. And on Monday or Tuesday maybe, I will pick, or we will pick, the 2 winners for the sew along. So don't forget to check in the albums, and of course do share your great work wherever you are allowed, and in the main Patterns for Pirates group. There you go. This is my beautiful jumper. How cute is this? I love it. And it doesn't look super crazy with the different straps and the different colors. I feel like it turned out really nice and very tame. And don't forget to put your straps in an X on the back. Very cute, if I do say so myself. I love it. Alright, my lovelies, it was great sewing with you this week, the vintage jumper. I look forward to speaking to you all in the Facebook group and to our next sew along. Next month in April, it will be the mermaids turn in the group. But I will be back in May when we'll probably do the swim top, because the race was super tight between the swim top, the sunflower swim top, and the vintage jumper. I feel like we should do the swim top too. A lot of you wanted to do that one, so we'll probably do that one in May. Alright, my lovelies, that's it for me this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye!